Hello children, welcome back to our online classes. So, as you all know that we are now discussing about the living organisms and the characteristics and habitats of the living organisms. And in the previous class we have discussed about the adaptation and habitats, and we also learned about the biotic and abiotic components of the habitat. So what are these abiotic components? Yes, the abiotic components are the non-living elements of an environment, or we can say the ecosystem or the habitat. And the example for abiotic components are like air, water, sunlight, soil. So they are non-living. So they don't have they are not living things. So they are what we can call as the abiotic elements. And biotic elements means the living components of the habitat. So they are the biotic elements, like plants and animals, we can say the biotic components. So this is comprising a habitat. So what is this adaptation? Just recall what you have learned in your previous class. Yes, the adaptation is the presence of certain specific features which enable an organism to live in its surrounding. So that is called as the adaptation. And the habitat means the surrounding where an organism lives. That is called habitat. So likewise many habitat are there. The few organisms they live in the land, they live on the land, and some will live under the water. So likewise we will categorize them into the aquatic, terrestrial likewise. So the animals, the organisms which live on the land, we call them as the terrestrial, means the organisms which live in the terrestrial habitat. And if the organisms they live in the water, then we call that as the aquatic habitat. So this is what we have discussed in our previous class. And also we have discussed about the acclimatization. So acclimatization means the where the animals, the adaptation takes place for a short period of time. So that is what we can call as the acclimatization. So about this we have discussed in the previous class, and now I will explain you a small activity. You already know about this and you already learned this in the first term also. So just remind that activity. So about the sprouting we have discussed. So when we soak some seeds, so for overnight, and the next day we observe some white filament which is growing from the seeds. So that we call as a sprout. So likewise just do the activity, do the similar activity, and then take some seeds and then keep 20 to 30 seeds away. The dry seeds you just keep it away, and remaining seeds you just soak it in a water overnight, and then in the next day you just make the soaked seeds into 4 parts. Okay, so the soaked seeds, which one you have soaked for overnight, so those you can make it into 4 parts. Okay, and in that what you made the 4 parts, 1 part you just keep it in the sunny room where it can get the sunlight, sunny room. And 1 more part you just keep it in the room where there is no light at all, means in the dark room. Okay, say in the dark room. One is in the room which gets the sufficient amount of sunlight, sunny room, and the next one you just keep it in the dark room, and some portion you immersed in the water, completely immersed in water. Okay, and then the last part you just keep it in ice. Okay, either in the refrigerator or the ice around the seeds. So likewise you just make arrangement. So these are the four parts we kept in the different places. One we kept in the sunny room and one we kept in the dark room where there is no light at all. And one part we kept in very immersed in the water completely. And one part we keep in the ice, or we can keep in the refrigerator or ice surrounded with the seeds. So likewise when you keep it for you just continue it for 3 to 4 days, and every day you just wash it and keep it again in the same place. Likewise you just keep it for 3 to 4 days. So later what are your guesses? What are the changes take place here? So later when we complete this activity, we will come to know that to grow a plant, the sprout means what we say, the sprout means it started growing. So if we observe the seeds which we kept at the sunny room, and one more it is there, the part before we kept aside, the seeds without sow, the dry seeds also there. Okay, the dry seeds before only we kept the 20 to 30 seeds we kept aside, the dry seeds. So when we observe all these 5 types of seeds, so when we get the growth of the seed, in which kind of seeds we can see or observe the growth of the seeds, we will find the changes. See, we find the changes only where the sunny room. But other these 4, we do not observe any changes in the seeds. There we will not find any kind of growth. So by doing this activity, we will conclude that to grow, if an organism, if it wants to live, then it needs all the required abiotic components. So what are those abiotic components? We said that there are examples I gave, like sunlight, air, water, and so on. So there are many abiotic components are there. These are necessary for an organism to live. So see, when the room which is having the sunny means it is having the air also, and we have to water it properly, then only we can see the growth. If the plant which is there, the seeds which we kept in the sunny room, if it is having all the if it gets all the abiotic components like sunlight, air, but if it do not get the water, then is it possible to grow? No, it is not possible. It needs all the abiotic components. And the dark room, if the seeds we keep in the dark room, again there also it will not get any kind of, this means the sunlight. There is no sunlight. If other abiotic components, if we provide also, it will not grow properly. And if we immerse the seeds in water completely, again it will not get the air properly. Again there is a problem. And if we keep it in ice, again it will not get any sunlight or air which is required for growth. And the dry seeds, instead of soaking, we cannot grow the seeds. So likewise, it needs an organism to live, it requires all the abiotic components with it. Then only already we have discussed some animals like camels and some of the other animals, the fishes and all we have discussed, and some more examples we can now discuss in this class. So, a journey through different habitats. A journey through different habitats. So different, the animals we already discussed. We already learned that the organisms are present in every habitat. Either it is cold or it is hot and dry or it is humid. So everywhere the organisms are present. So now we can discuss about the different habitats, the animals or the organisms which are living in different habitats. So first we can discuss about the terrestrial habitats. Terrestrial habitats. So we know that if the organisms they live on the land, then it is terrestrial habitat. Again in the terrestrial habitats we have different categories. So in that the first one we can discuss about the deserts. Yes, the deserts are also land. So this desert is the terrestrial habitat because in the deserts the organisms are living on the land. So it is terrestrial habitat. So in the deserts already we have discussed about the camel, right? So camel is the animal which is adopted to the deserts. So it has long legs and also thick skin, and also it can store water for a long period of time in its body, and also it excretes very less quantity of urine, and its dung also dry. So this is what the adaptations of the camel to live in the deserts. But in the deserts only camels are not there. Other animals are also living in the deserts. So how they adapt themselves to the deserts? So for example, the snakes are also living in the deserts, and rats are also present. But do they have the long legs like camel? No, they do not have the legs like camel. Then how they can adapt to the deserts? So I said that before only, the snakes and rats, they won't come out during the daytime, because in the deserts during the daytime it is very hot because of the sunlight, but in the night, during the night it is very cold. So the organisms like snakes and rats, they will be stay in the burrows. Okay, here the burrows will be there. If the land is there like this, so they made some burrows inside the ground. So here they will present whole day because there is too much hot in the desert, so that they cannot come out during the daytime. But in the night time when it is cold, that time these animals come out to in search of the food. So likewise they adapted to the deserts, and this is how they live. The snakes and rats, they live in the deserts. And also some other plants are also present in the deserts, and how they are adapted to the deserts. Let me discuss now. So most commonly we can see the cactus and saguaro in the deserts. Cactus and saguaro. So they are present in the deserts. You can see in your textbook also the pictures are given. So here if we see, there are many kinds of cactus we can see, like ball cactus and all, and the saguaro also. So here what happened in these plants, we can observe that either they are having no leaves You tie a transparent polythene bag to both the, take a branches of leaves and tie it for both the plants. One is from your region and one is from desert area. Then observe it after a few hours so that you observe the water droplets. So if you observe both the plants which is from the desert and where one is from your region, there is very less amount of water is released by the plants from the desert area, but more amount of water is released by the plant which is taken by your area. Because this is gone, these plants are adapted to the deserts, and deserts there a very little rainfall or no rainfall takes place there. So that the plants which are living in the deserts, they are adapted to their conditions, and the plants which are present here, they are adapted to these conditions. So on that basis we can we can conclude how much water is transpired by both the plants. So this is how they adapted to the deserts, and this is about the desert plants and animals, how they adapted to the habitat of the desert. And the next one is mountains. The second one is mountains, the mountainous regions. So here in the mountain regions, the climate is too cold. So sometimes here the snowfall takes place due to the less means the temperature is fall here every time, and during the winter it is too much cold, and even sometimes it falls in the minus. We can observe the minus, in the minus means less than 0 degree Celsius temperature will be there in the mountain regions. So the animals which are living here, already in the previous class I have explained about the polar bear. So we know that the polar bear, it is having the thick coat of hair on it that we call as the fleece, and the color of the fleece is white, so that its prey cannot identify the presence of the polar bear, and also its skin is black in color, so that it can trap the heat, so and it can keep its body warm, and it has strong sense of smell. So like these characters, it can help it to adapt to the cold regions. And likewise some other animals are also there here, like the leopard, the snow leopard we can say. So there is leopards and also yak and goat. So many of the animals are there here also. So if we think about the leopards, so these are also having the thick fur on them. Fur means fleece, the hair which is present on them. It is having a thick fur on its body, and also the fur, the hair, it is covered even to the paws also. From whole body to the paws, the thick coat of the fur will be there, so that it can protect its body from the cold. And likewise yak is also having the long hairs, so that it can also protect its body by the cold. And also the goat. Goat is also having the thick coat of fleece. So likewise they can protect their body from the cold. And the plants which are living here, like oak, pines, deodar and all, the plants are cone shaped. Yes, the cone shaped plants will be there. And the leaves are like needle shaped. So that whenever the snowfall takes place here, the rainfall or snowfall, whatever it takes place, it will not retain on the leaves of the plants. It can be slide off, so that the snow will not be retained on the leaves, so that it will not do any harm to the photosynthesis process. So it will take place as usual. So grasslands. So grasslands means these are the plain areas where we can see no trees or less number of trees we can see. There only the grass is present. This is the plain. These are the plains, the grasslands. And normally we can see the lions and the deer. Deer are present in the grasslands. So how they are adapted to these grasslands? So you all know that the color of the lion is light brown color. And if you observe the picture, it is given in your textbook. Just open page number 85. Okay, just observe the picture. Just see the color of the lion and the grass. Yes, it is quite similar here. So they can be easily hidden with that grass and they can catch its prey or they can hunt, because you know that they are the good hunters, so they can hunt the animals and they kill and they eat the flesh of that. So likewise the lions, they are also having the eyes in front so that they can observe the predators from the longer distance. So the eyesight is very sharp, since the eyes are present in front, means in the face the eyes are present in front, so that its sight will be very strong, so that it can identify its predators, and also its paws, its claws are very strong, so that, and the retractable paws will be there, so that they can come without noise and they can hunt the animals. And likewise even the deers also, so they also adopted to the grasslands, because they are the they are the prey of the lions, and these lions are the predators and the deer are the prey, and they have to escape from the dangers. So the lions usually they used to hunt the animals. So to save their life, they have to adopt their body modification. They have to modify their body so that these deers are having the eyes in size, so that they can see all around, means in all the directions they can see the deers. And also their legs are modified in such a way that they can run very fast to escape from the predators. And they have the long ears so that they can hear the sound. So very sensitive. The ears are very sensitive and they can hear the very sensible sound also. So like that they modify to their surroundings. And even the zebra also, it is having the white and black strips on its body, so that when it is running, it makes the predators confused to search that. So likewise many modifications are there in the plants and animals of these habitats, the grasslands, mountains and the deserts. So this is about the journey through different habitats. So here we have discussed about the